But speaking of contracts, by the way, out of nowhere, the Morgan Rielly contract just showed up. It's the full 8 years. It's 60 million. The AAV is 7.5. There's a full fuck only if only I could talk. There's a full no move for the first 6 years. It's a bit modified when it comes to the last 2 years. Not a lot of signing bonuses, which I thought was pretty interesting. Um, Listen, I think I've been extremely critical of Morgan Rielly on this podcast. And if people say this is a hometown discount, I'm not going to listen to them. I'm not. It's just not going to happen. Like, he's not Charlie McAvoy. He's a good player,
No, but I
but
think I think if he went to open market, he would have gotten more. I genuinely believe that. Like I Cody Cece got 3.5. You will not pull me away from the fact that I'm not saying this is a hometown discount. It would have been an overpayment if he made that on the UFA market, but I
Mhm.
believe he would have got more if he went to free agency.
Well, have you guys seen some of these other defensive contracts though? Like,
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
we
I,
remember we looked at them all together.
so I don't know if you guys are going to talk about this later, but that deal in New York that just happened 40 minutes ago.
Oh,
We will.
yeah.
We will.
All right, so let's not spoil it there, but I still think 7.5 is like what Riley would have gotten on the market, maybe a little bit more, but I don't think he's worth that much.
No, I don't. I think
No,
what
yeah,
was it
yeah.
2 episodes ago, Adam? I'm like, yeah, $8 million is my turning point, and like I'm not even comfortable with that.
What did Pareko get again? Was it
Six
6.5?
6.5.
I think I compared that. I'm like, obviously different style defenseman, but for levels,
Mm-hmm.
I've always thought like that was accurate. But I mean, it was a question of could they keep him? Like, the thing is, if you lose Morgan Rielly, who steps into his place? Like, it's a difference between Sandine looks good with Lillian right now and compared to top pair and having all the stress, right? Like, I said this a couple episodes too. It's like eventually they didn't bite with Hyman. The Leafs were going to have to bite on a contract they didn't love.
Right.
And I think Morgan Rielly is that contract.
And you say who's going to replace him? You brought up on the ice, but I think off the ice is off the ice as well. The same thing. Like I know he's only an assistant captain, but less than 3 years ago, we were having the conversation of is Morgan Rielly going to be the captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs? And I think there's plenty of
Remember that.
people who would have made the argument. Yes, as I believe I made that argument. You did as well.
Yeah.
Made that argument. Like you removed Hyman from that room. You removed lots of guys over the last 4 or 5 years, and for reasonable reasons. There's not a whole lot of guys left on this roster who are vocal leaders. Like we know John Tavares, like that all or nothing said, isn't necessarily the most vocal leader, but it's a leader you can follow by example. And I think what the Leafs have in a couple of these guys is vocal leaders. And I'm really hoping the guys who make a bajillion dollars can do that as well. But to have Morgan Rielly, who you know is going to do that, it is tremendous for a room that, if I'm being honest, seems fragile at every moment.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I want to see Marner score a goal that isn't a gimme from the goaltender. I know they say it's just one, but listen, again, we talked a lot about like the big thing of him being on the bumper on the power play, and it hasn't quite transitioned yet.